Well, this is the inaugural video of NeoVimTips, and the main reason I'm doing it is because after using Vim for years, I moved to NeoVim, and after I moved to NeoVim, I started using Lua for my config. Then I found out a lot of people already did Lua configs, and a lot of them had done an awesome job, and I didn't want to recreate the wheel because that's the one thing I learned a long time ago is it's best not to recreate the wheel. So what you're looking at right now is just my screen. I'm going to go ahead and show you problem that I ran into though. First off, I'm using LazyVim, and I'll just go ahead and show you what it looks like. I'm just going to open it up. This is the LazyVim startup. It's fantastic. Basically, they've done a lot of sane startups on it, including having a nice little file browser. You can also look at your symbols in your code and all of that. So I really like it. But I ran into a problem, and I'm going to show the problem. And that is if I made a main C or CPP, and I'm going to go ahead and just do that, but delete the old one. Apparently, one thing I haven't learned is that yeah, they store some temp files, and they do that in regular Vim, and I disabled it in mine, but it must still be there in LazyVim. But in any case, this is the first time I'm using LazyVim. It's pretty overall, but this is the problem I ran into. So let's say that I do this. Look on the right side there. Warning: multiple different client offsets, and every time you type it, you get another one. So, as my friend used to say, isn't that special? Well, I scoured the internet looking for a way to fix this, and I didn't find one that was good. I found contradictory information, but I did find one that was good, but I had such a hard time finding it, I figured I'd go ahead and show you guys this. So basically, you want to go into your config if you're using LazyVim, but it'll work for any NeoVim that's using the Lua type of init files. So I'm going to use init.lua, and I've already fixed it once, and I didn't fix it, but this is the only thing I found that works for this. So I'm uncommenting these lines. Otherwise, it's just a regular lazy config. I put this all the way up in the main one. I'm going to go ahead and comment this as hack to get rid of stupid warning about bad buffers. They just did this in NeoVim, and that's the reason why it's showing up. So all this is doing is just saying, okay, we're gonna always open up. From what I understand, I might be wrong, but I think all it's going to do is always open clang in UTF-16 because it can have contradictory encodings, and that thing where it said multiple encodings was bad. All it's doing is saying we're going to set the encoding to UTF-16. The plugin that's given us problems is lspconfig, so I just set those configurations to have that offset encoding. So all you have to do to make this error go away, and long and short, is add this stuff in right here. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in the video comment too, so that you guys can just copy and paste it. But anyway, once you do that, I'm going to exit out of, and it should work with any Lunarvim. I'm just going to go over to downloads. The main reason I'm using that is just it's empty, and I can put a file in there. So at this point, first off, I've got all that good stuff of auto completion that I haven't quite mastered yet on this one. But include, we'll just do IOStream, and we'll just do a little int main. And look at all the stuff it does for you. I'm going to go ahead and take that. That's from, I am picking up some errors. I'm not sure what that was all about. There's nothing wrong with that. Looks good to me. So anyway, just a standard hello world. And it doesn't, oh, well, don't forget that if you're just doing something quick to use the right compiler. And then a.out, hello world works. So the long and short is that seems to work, and all my other plugins are working fine too. I did add in a couple of other plugins over the top of LazyVim. I wanted to make it where the symbol editor came up, which is kind of nice. That right there is just symbol outline is what it's called. So if you add in just another function, add stuff, and I don't know, int A, int B, whatever. Just make a quickie, and then return A plus B, all classic. So if you do that and you hit this over there, it'll actually have all of those symbols added in. So now it's got both functions. So if you go here, it goes to main, and then if you go over to the let me put that back in there. If you go back to add stuff, it'll come back in. The notifications that are popping up, I'm not super crazy about that. I may get rid of that in the future, but right now it's okay. So that way I can navigate between the two, and I can shut that down just by hitting one little key. The LazyVim, the reason it's called LazyVim is it has a whole bunch of the plugins and stuff added in through Lazy instead of Packer, and honestly, I'm kind of liking it. Since I did this video and I already did the main purpose of it, I'll do one more thing, since just because I think it's kind of interesting. This is what the let's go to Lazy just NVim. It uses your standard NVim entry, so it's not quite like Lunarvim where it'll save everything, but this is the basic tree structure of it. They have an init.lua, which is where you literally go in and start the configuration, and require lazy. Config.lazy is where it starts everything up on its end. After it does those two things, the thing that's kind of nice about lazy is it is true to its word in other ways, is all your configs are underneath config. Lazy config is the lazy. This one you don't want to mess with too much, although you can put things in it, like if you want to add in Prettier or Copilot, you can add that stuff in. But basically, this is how you add it and add in your key maps. So I've got two key maps on mine. One is for the symbols outline, and one is for that. I've got what's known as a ergodox keyboard. So I've got the thumb pad, and I've just remapped F6 and F5 so that I can tap them right on the thumb instead of having to go out and hit the lazy options. It also does let you know what all your key bindings are, which is kind of nice, and you can even search your key bindings by coming through this buffer, and it shows you what they all are. I think that that's invaluable. You just hit escape to get out of anything. So anyway, I just figured I'd show a little bit more about what Lazy was all about. You should definitely go check out Lazy if you haven't done it. I think it's really awesome. But all your custom configurations at that point can just be in a config. The way they have you doing it is you basically go out, clone their repo, and then blow away their git settings and just commit it to your own, and then put it up on the top. I think that's a really good way to go. The thing I didn't like about Lunarvim, to be honest, is it just put a bunch of extra stuff all over the place that I just didn't know where it was and what it was doing, and I had to hunt it all down, and there could be collisions between the standard stuff and the new stuff. LazyVim does a really good job of allowing you to basically just disable any of their basic functionality, and to be able to add additional plugins. And what I like about the plugins, I didn't really want it to be all this, but I guess it's what it is, just to get people started, is they give you this example Lua, which shows you how to add the plugins. This little command here, basically what it's doing in this case is if true, then return. It's basically just setting it so that this stuff down here never gets executed. So if you want to execute all the stuff that's underneath here, you can just comment out the if true. But basically, to add any given plugin, all you really have to do is just take and add in the GitHub or wherever the plugin is located right here in your plugin, and it gets it. That's all there is to it. Options and everything can be added in. That's cool. That example, I left the example here because functionally what happens, let's say that I'm adding in DAP, which is the this is the debugger that plug in for NeoVim. But basically I want to put everything for DAP in one. It makes it really handy. You just put in return, you put all this stuff in. That's everything for DAP. I did separate out DAP projects, but I could have put it in the same one. I just was kind of messing with it. And matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and add it to the same one and get rid of the other one because I think they're all related. But if I go here, and this is the other thing that's kind of cool, is that I just started using it, and it's like pretty easy. So I'm going to paste this guy back in here. So now I've got projects in one, and it's going to get a little confused because basically what it amounts to is I'm not going to I'm going to put that in the regular DAP, and go ahead and put the UI in the same one. I don't see any reason to let's undo that. I don't see any reason to have different ones. So there we go. So just going to put them all in there, and I'm going to exit out, and I'm going to blow away all the other ones that I don't need, like DAP projects. NVim, DAP, UI, LUA. Now I just have symbols. Symbols is pretty extensive, but it's all symbols. This is that little this little guy over here that I was able to hit earlier where it would pop up. It's not going to pop up here. There it is. There's the symbol that pops up. It's a little laggy. That shows everything that would be underneath symbols, but it's not too bad. This allows you to get your custom symbols for any of the symbols you want on that list over there. So functionally, what it means is that for any given plugin or set of plugins, you can group them in their own file, which is really nice. So this is everything that's DAP now. That's why I went ahead and moved it all over there. So anytime I need to add anything for DAP, and DAP being the debugger platform, it'll be in there. So now that all that's in there, I think I already had that in there, but I'm just going to commit consolidated DAP plugins. Anyway, I know this is a rambly kind of thing. It's the first time I've ever done a video. The biggest reason I wanted to go in there is just so if someone else was having problems with C and C++ and they couldn't find it on the internet, they could find it. But I also wanted to plug Lunarvim a little, not Lunarvim. I just got off of Lunarvim, LazyVim a little bit because I'm really kind of enjoying it. That's it for me. Have a good one.